So I can't say that it hasn't brought a lot of blessing, and it hasn't brought me to this place.
Suffering always causes a lot of learning, but it doesn't mean suffering is good. What you're talking about is selfish. Oh, I know. The thought is that you are being unselfish, inclusive, loving on a grander, larger scale. But you don't have commitment with all of these others. You don't have the commitment of marriage. What you're wanting to do is to float in the middle of an anchored dynamic, a marriage. And you can't float and be anchored at the same time. You can't float and be grounded at the same time. Now, I told Paul in the beginning, keep your feet on the ground and your head not too far away. Because if you become ungrounded, you can justify anything. What you have to do is you have to start with where you are in a valued, anchored relationship. And if an expansion is attempted and it undermines the grounded, anchored relationship, you know it doesn't work. And if you persist, then you are not valuing your grounded relationship. And so you are conveying to your partner that she's alone, that you're leaving her. This is not, you're giving a double message. You're being selfish in the name of unselfishness. And ignoring the one benchmark you have that tells you whether what you're doing works. The fact that it's creating stress in your grounded relationship. And it won't work. And if you persist just to find out for sure, you will find out for sure. And there will be learning. And you will learn what your intelligence told you in the beginning, but you ignored.
So there is something very, quote unquote, special about two people making commitment and not three to each other. It's not possible.
Because of the use of the word special in A Course in Miracles, I wouldn't use that word. There is something very significant. There is something profoundly significant about it, yes.
I see.
And I am telling you a truth here. In other words, I am not presenting an idea for the purpose of influencing you in the right direction. I am telling you a truth, a fact, which you will sooner or later have to acknowledge and yield to.
if I find that my marital partner is in love to someone else, and they want to keep that relationship on the same level as our marital relationship is, what advice do you have to me?
Tell them no or leave. I would not quibble, mince words, try to coerce, but stand clearly in your integrity and say, that doesn't work for me. It needs to be clear, sharply, distinctly, black and white.
One follow-up.
You see, it doesn't fit with the fundamental element of commitment. And once you let go of that fundamental element of commitment, your relationship becomes ungrounded, disconnected, and unreal. Non-existent. Even if you behave as though you're still married.
Raj, you know, I've had a lot of attachment to anger. I know myself, I've felt very inadequate. I haven't expressed a lot of self-respect. To make a long story short, there's a lot of things I haven't given to my wife. No one's perfect. Well, or we're all perfect. But I guess my concern is, I know this. When I don't have self-respect for myself, I end up abusing my wife, or I am abusive to her emotionally at times. And I know that can't continue, and I have a concern about that. And I have a concern about, I know she's going to find what she needs, but can you help? Or do I need to phrase this question more clearly?
You do.
Okay.
I want you to be clear about what your question is.
My question I had earlier today is, do I need to spend some time getting more settled in my own self-respect and sense of adequacy so that there aren't any outbursts or problematic behavior towards my wife, and that I'm fully present with her?
Well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that except through having an object of your affection and making commitment to expressing affection toward her? That's the only way you're going to discover self-respect for yourself. As you find your capacity to be the intelligent expression of love uncovered by your very own actions. You're not going to feel good about yourself until you start doing things that make you feel good about yourself. And going off by yourself to somehow get in touch with your integrity is something you can't do by yourself. Your experience of your integrity comes from relating well to your fellow man, by letting your actions express intelligence and love and compassion, thoughtfulness, and neglecting to vent anger. Or express abuse. And so you better stay right where you are and use the relationship you have as the focal point for behaving in a new way that makes you feel your integrity. and illuminates your capacity to be consistent and persistent with one individual 100%. It doesn't have to be 100%, but when I say 100%, I mean without a bunch of unnecessary distractions from giving your attention to one person in a whole way.
Is it appropriate for me to ask one more question, or is it time to pass the mic?
You may.
Is my work situation and feeling of inadequacy causing problems in my marital relationship, and do I need to take care of something there?
No, it's the other way around. And actually, it's your lack of commitment to being the presence of love that is causing the difficulty in the marriage and at work. Because without your self-respect, you can't bring the best of you to either place. And without self-respect, you can't see either place as worthy of you. And if you follow this path of self-disrespect, you will eventually leave both of them. And then you'll really be miserable. And you will finally arrive at a point where you come to the clear realization that you've got to start being the presence of love and care about somebody more than you care about yourself. And no matter whether you're in the gutter or not, or on Skid Row, or in a flea bag motel, you will have to actually change your behavior and find an object of your affection and start paying attention thoughtfully, caringly, etc., and express love in actions and thoughts and deeds, so that you might find your dignity illuminated again, and so that you might arrive at a point once again of having a grounded relationship and have joy. Sooner or later, you will come to an inner place of recognizing the truth of what I'm saying, the fact of what I'm saying, and that there truly is no other choice. And you will abandon the willful attempt to have another choice where none other is available. Why not do it now? Because if you do it now, there will be immediate results that will demonstrate to you that what I'm talking about is a law. It's the way it works, and you can't make it work the way it doesn't work. And the way it doesn't work is when you are being unselfish for selfish reasons. Now, I know this isn't what you wanted to hear, but it's what you need to hear, and it's the answer, and it will be the difference between night and day when you leave this gathering, if you will be willing to make commitment to simple intelligence and the way it works. You'll have proof. Unless you want to savor the injustice of not having the chance to prove the grand experiment. I mention that because it lurks there. And you deserve not to be hooked by it. We will take a break.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Okay. Hands. The lady behind the camera.
Mark. It's been a long time between drinks of water since I was here last. Am I getting feedback? Okay. I'm really scared to ask this question. I'm really scared because I'm afraid I'm doing something wrong. When I was 2 or 3 years old, you confirmed that there was a little being that came and visited me, and we had a long talk, but I never asked you what we talked about. Can you tell me what we talked about? And then I'll know whether to ask further.
No, just continue on.
Okay. These have been 3 of the hardest years that I can remember, and I think what makes it harder is being sort of partially aware. This really hurts, and I was trying to think, well, how am I going to ask this, because I need to find out what it is that hurts. And I think it's that there is so much venom coming from my husband towards my son when he's trying to heal. And I was the one that sort of brought us all together. And I'm really scared to hear your answer. It's the venom that hurts me. It's watching him, my son, heal, that hurts. Tell me what I need to know. And I'm scared you're going to hammer me.
If I do, I will do it gently. What is your explanation of the difficulty in watching your son heal for you?
I don't have a difficulty in watching him heal. I just, 3 years ago when he was flipping out, and I was responsible for bringing him to Victoria, I just knew somehow that if he had the time and the space, that he would be okay, that he would be okay. And then my husband and I got back together again, and Jason's illness has driven all of us insane. And so I feel like I've been living in insanity for the last 3 years and watching my husband deteriorate health-wise, and the hatred that comes out from him towards Jason is really hard to bear. And I can't just let it go and say it's okay. I have to challenge it. I have to say, no, he is working, he is changing, he is caring to get better. I know he is. And I know he is. Am I right?
You are correct.
Oh, I know he is. I feel him getting...
And you must speak up and say no. And what is troublesome for you is speaking up. That is your dilemma.
But I do it. I mean, I speak up.
You do, but you don't feel your integrity fully. If you felt your integrity fully, you would speak up as you are doing without apology, without doubting yourself, without feeling bad about it.
I don't feel bad when I challenge that and say, no, he's healing. I know that it's true. What I feel bad about is this being who seems to be filled with hatred. It's like there's an energy in the house, and I really try to let it flow through. I know that he also is healing in his own way. You know, and it's like when the three of us came back together again, for some strange reason, there was a very clear space that I knew it was the right thing to do, that we came together, we had an opportunity to all help each other heal. I just felt that. And what I'm scared of in talking to you is that you're going to say, no, you were wrong.
No, you were absolutely right. Now, if you thought I was going to tell you that you were wrong, it means that you have thought you might be entirely wrong.
Yeah.
And so that means that when you have been saying no, you haven't been saying it with full commitment. You have been saying it with doubt. Yep. Saying it nevertheless. And so, if you will listen to my answer again, you will hear that I described the problem correctly. Mm-hmm. Your distress has come from saying no and not feeling your integrity fully. Excuse me. You have been suffering from the dissonance of being correct, but not feeling the correctness fully. It's been a period of 3 years in which I'm going to say you're finally growing up, coming into an experience of your adulthood where you speak with authority. And what I mean by that is not that you are speaking as an authorizer, but that you speak with integrity from the tips of your toes, and you feel it so completely that self-doubt doesn't enter into the picture to undermine you. You are getting extended practice at speaking your integrity so that you might feel it as yours and stop doubting yourself. Do you understand?
The energy of the hatred
is inconsequential
doesn't feel like
in
it.
contrast to your clarity.
It's bearable then? Because sometimes I really don't feel like it's bearable. Sometimes it's just so heavy. And I'm so fortunate because I have jobs that take me out, and it is such a blessing because I can get out and I can get away from it. I can let them stew in their juices, and I can just clear a bit and then go back in to it.
This is what's called hanging in there.
Yeah.
This is what's called commitment.
Yeah.
You see, it doesn't have everything or anything to do with sex.
No.
Commitment and intimacy is what we're talking about here, where you are hanging in with commitment on behalf of the best in both of them. That doesn't mean that they're going to stand in full receipt of that acknowledgement,
No.
but involvement and intimacy and commitment cause you to continue to come from God-given clarity. And if you will accept the fact that it is God-given clarity, then you will stop being inclined to be apologetic for it, or to feel bad about it, or to doubt your integrity. And you will come to a point where you say no and let the chips fall where they may, without indulging in second thoughts.
I understand what you're saying. It's just...
An adult says to a child, no.
Yeah.
The child throws a tantrum. The adult does not immediately go into self-doubt.
But I see my husband in a lot of pain and anguish, and I know that he loves his son. I know he loves his son. So when he's spitting out this hatred, I know it's not real.
Indeed.
I know it's not real. And I try to let it flow through because I know it's not real and everything, but it seems to like drain me. And since I've been in that place, I haven't...
You need to say no when that happens more frequently.
Yeah, well, I do. I have been really trying to say no. It's not. It is not so. I know it's not so.
You tell him, no, stop this behavior.
Yeah.
Don't argue about the rightness or wrongness.
No, I do. And I do. I just have to say no. I cannot hear this. It's not true. Don't talk to me about it. You know, I really do. And I am, like 3 years ago, I just said, I'm not going to try and get away anymore. You know, because you would always say, don't try and get away. Well, I didn't. And it's been a blessing and just the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But no matter what I've done, there's always been, when I take a step, the universe is there to hold me up no matter what's going on. And so I just get so drained sometimes that I think maybe I did the wrong thing. Maybe they all would have been better if I just stayed out of their lives.
It's not true.
Thank you. That is a blessing.
Someone has had to witness for them.
Thank you. Because there's nobody else that's going to do it. These are two of the most isolated individuals I've ever met in my life. I have never seen such isolation. It's just, it's breathtaking. Why are they so isolated? And that's what I blame me for. Because I'm sort of like there to try and be their everything, and I know that I can't, and it's so hard.
Well, don't waste your time or energy trying to somehow be the cause of their problems.
Yeah. And I'm not, right? Right?
Still trying,
right?
huh?
Yeah. Okay. I thank you for that. And can I just ask you how my mother is?
Fine.
Just fine?